refers to them as poor man's lobster or the fisherman's tax, because that's the first thing that gets cut off before it even goes to the processing plant.
Salmon cheeks are also really good.
Yeah, they're good.
You can get them. Yeah.
But the halibut, if you saute those things in a little butter, it tastes just like lobster.
Yeah.
Great, just really amazing.
Alright. Okay, here's Christine
So there
holding
you
the
go.
halibut.
And then right here at the base of the tail. Yep.
That's heavy.
Yep. This one's about 30 pounds.
How's that feel,
People
Christine?
can tolerate. Can you talk
heavy.
about how you cut the head off?
It is pretty
or
heavy.
is there a certain way to do it, or is it just like salmon?
Yeah,
and
it's
that kind of
mostly just like
thing?
salmon. Just follow the one. But as they age, their eyes do shift from the center, where they're centered, as they start to flatten, they shift to the right.
Sure.
Halibut is always on the right. Flounder and halibut are actually the same species. Halibut you'll only find in the colder northern waters, whereas flounder you'll find them in the warmer waters near the equator.
Okay.
But there's an interesting characteristic about flounder on the Atlantic coast, and only on the Atlantic coast, they don't know why. Occasionally they'll find a flounder whose eyes, instead of moving to the right, have moved to the left.
Huh. So he's flipped the other way.
So he's left-handed then?
Oh, on the top. Okay, on one side, yeah.
Yeah, their eyes just, instead of shifting to the right, they shift to the left.
Interesting. Where the spine is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a backward Picasso.
That's a cross-eyed halibut.
Do they always, so you're saying they always, from the upright position, they always lay down on their left side? That's a thing that always happens, right?
Yeah, as it flattens out, as they flatten out.
Yeah.
Technically, if you see them when they're growing, then they would basically always like flatten out like that,
Sure.
and then their eyes would shift to the right.
Yeah.
But that's we're talking with the ones that we're talking about with their eyes shifting to the left. Those are always flounders.
Yeah, yeah.
And even though they're the same species, they're different subspecies. They're just found in different waters.
I guess what I'm saying is that when they're juveniles and they're upright, they're always going to lay down to their left side, and then
Well, it's not. I wouldn't say it necessarily lays down because their body's kind of flat.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, so they don't go like this?
Yeah, they don't flop over. It's more their body's flatten out.
Oh. So then their spine is still in the middle.
Their spine is still in the center. And instead of having 2 fillets like you do on most fish, it has 4 fillets.
Wow.
So you have a fillet on each side and top and bottom.
Oh, okay.
Because when they swim, they don't swim like this. They swim like this.
Like a mermaid.
You can. We'll go with that. We'll go with that. We'll roll with that. All right. So the largest halibut on record that's been caught was 515 pounds, caught here in Alaska in 1996.
That's a big fish.
That is a big fish.
Wow.
So they can grow up to, like I said, 500-600 pounds. And imagine a fish that's that size. It's going to be like 7-8 feet long and about 5 feet across. They are one of the most dangerous sport fish. If you like sport fishing, they throw more fishermen overboard than any other fish.
You're kidding. Wow.
No, because they are solid muscle and they put up a lot of fight.
Wow.
The larger ones, when they get them on board the boat, they either harpoon them in the head or immediately shoot them because they're so dangerous. Yeah, they can do a lot of damage to a boat, or if they actually catch somebody with their tail, they can knock somebody overboard or crush them.
Wow.
Because imagine a fish the size of this table, and then add a tail on it, and that thing is solid muscle.
Yeah.
It's whack you in the chest. She's gonna send you like a
So when they
tennis ball.
catch it, I bet it's probably a lot of money that they get for that, catching
yeah.
a halibut.
Yeah, it's an expensive fish. Now halibut have what I like to call a fillet by number. They have a line that starts here at the base of the tail and goes to the tip of their head. That's their spine. And it's present on both sides of the fish. So, as we get ready to fillet it, by the way, was there anybody else that wanted to hold the halibut?
No,
We're good? Alright, so first what we're going to do
so
is here.
you've already skinned that one, yeah? Oh, no, that's the bottom.
This is
Okay.
the bottom.
Okay.
So one side of them is mottled like this. It helps camouflage against the ocean floor, and the other side
Sure.
is white.
Yeah.
So the first cut we're going to do is right here at the base of the tail, just above the splay of the fin. And you always want a very, very sharp knife. And I apologize in advance if you have never heard the sound of knife on bone. It is not the most pleasant.
Ooh.
So you definitely want a sharp knife. We're going to cut all the way through to the bone. Then we're gonna follow this line we use as our guide, but you see that there's a little bit of a dip right here. We're just gonna level that off and follow it through. And what we're doing is we want to avoid the pin bones that are associated with the top of the spine, the back side of the spine here, and miss those that are associated with the dorsal as well. So the hardest part of this is literally just breaking the skin, and then we're gonna follow this line all the way up